What's up, movie lovers? I'm Mike, and this is Gotta Love Them Movies. You guys, welcome back to Gotta Love Them Movies, your daily dose of movie news. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. And you guys, it's been a while. It has been a while since we've had a guest on the show. I'm super excited. As you always know, we've got plenty of movies and movie related things to talk about, and as well television shows and the industry news and all that stuff. And here to help me talk about it is a very good friend of mine. It's been quite a while since we've talked. He's a very busy man, stand-up comedian. I believe you have a little improv in your background, sketch comedy writer, just an all-around wonderful movie buff. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for a very good friend of mine, Mr. Gregory Hall. Woo, 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 woo.
What is up, folks? How you doing, Mr. Brown? Thank you for having me.
Dude, thank you so much for being here. Like I said, it has been a long time since we've had a chance to catch up, chit-chat. COVID has really put the kibosh on our hangouts. Not just our hangouts, but all the shows that we would do together. I would host a monthly show called Fury, and you would often perform. You do stand-up at it quite a lot. So thank you for that. How have you been, sir?
I've been good. I've had a couple mental breakdowns last year, like everybody else, but I'm still kicking.
Well, good for you. Thanks for kicking in. Real quick, Greg, can you tell us a little, or rather our viewing audience, who are you? What makes you qualified to sit down and talk movies and movie news? And tell us a little bit about your background.
You know what's funny? When you said, "Who are you?" I had that moment when my brain froze. Yes, who are you? And I'm like, I don't know who I am. No. I am a comedian, stand-up comedian based in Jersey, but perform all over the tri-state area and the country. Like Mike said, I have about that much of improv skills. That much improv skills.
Whatever.
Mike is the aficionado in improv, but always hats off and respect to the improvisers and sketch kids. But I'm a comedian, entertainer, writer, producer. I recently, last year, started my own production company with guys that I grew up with that I've known my entire life, called Camp Nas. Is a collective group of artists like myself coming from different parts of the entertainment industry. That's myself, comedy, music, acting, fashion, so we have a lot of great content. Go to our YouTube channel, Camp Nas, check us out.
And all the links will be in the description below once this video gets uploaded to YouTube. So you know a little something about something here. You're not just some schmo from the street. You actually have some street cred. You know what you're talking about. You've been in the industry for a while. So you ready to dig our teeth into this juicy news from today?
Let's dig in.
Let's dig in. Before we can dig in, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already done so, head over to YouTube, type in Gotta Love Them Movies. In the top right-hand corner of the screen, you're going to see a little red rectangle that says subscribe. Go ahead and click on that button. What clicking on that button does is helps us to widen our subscriber base. And with the more subscribers the channel receives, the more watched content the channel receives, which in turn means that I get to earn ad revenue, making the show my full-time job. So I very much appreciate your support in doing that. And of course, as always, once the channel hits 1,000 subscribers, the live portion of the show will move from Facebook to YouTube. So just something to be aware of on your radar. All right, guys, now it's time to go over and take a little bit of movie news.
What?
All right, you guys, as promised, we've got a few interesting things to talk about. And if you have not heard this morning as of yet, I think it was 5:45, 5:45, 6:45 in the morning, this morning, all of the nominations for the 78th Golden Globes have dropped. Yeah, first of all, I was a little gobsmacked. 78 years of the Golden Globes. I mean, like, I know that the Academy Awards has been around for a long time. I guess I just never really stopped to consider that the Golden Globes has kind of been around for quite a while itself, you know? The Golden Globes, I think we can all kind of agree, it kind of plays second fiddle to the Academy Awards. It's a modge podge. It's kind of a fun, slap-happy celebration of, hey, let's have an awards ceremony. It's not the pristine. It's not quite up to the same level of excellence as what we've come to expect from the Academy over the years. But, I mean, it still recognizes talent. It still recognizes great performances, great directing. But the thing is, it is a Mod Podge. Yes, they celebrate both television and film. And that's great. Awesome. Sure. Go for it. But also sometimes their categories don't make a lot of sense. Let's jump into this article from Variety. You know, they're kind of highlighting a lot of stuff here, but let's look at this for a second. Here's one of the categories: the best television series in musical or comedy. First of all, I would like to point out, why is there both a musical and comedy category mashed together? So we have Emily in Paris, The Flight Attendant, The Great, Schitt's Creek, and Ted Lasso. All of these shows are completely different in tone. All of these shows are completely different in tone.
Yeah.
I mean, Kim and I just finished watching The Flight Attendant, which is very, very different from Schitt's Creek, which is very, very different from Ted Lasso. So it's confusing to me why these three properties, these three shows are mashed into the same category. I mean, I understand it is what it is. It's what the Golden Globes does. I've never understood their thought process here. Greg, like I said, you've been around for a while. You know what's going on with comedy and entertainment and award ceremonies and stuff like this. Do you have any idea as to why the Golden Globes mashes these bizarre properties together into one category?
Well, okay. Have they always done this, or is this like a?
Well, I mean, in recent history, they have. As far as my memory goes back, they always have. I don't know if that's what they've always done since their genesis, but it's kind of what they're known for now.
Yeah, because okay. Here's the thing about the Golden Gloves. The reason why I love the Golden, I didn't say gloves, globes.
The Golden Gloves. That's a boxing event.
Yeah, it's a boxing. I used to box. I used to box. I think that's why I said it. The Golden Globes. The thing about the Golden Globes that I like is that it's not as prestige as the Academy Awards. It's actually kind of like the night that Hollywood gets to be ratchet. You know what I mean? Like, there's always some ratchetness that goes on there because they always drink it and all that stuff there. So I kind of think that whoever's on the committee that does all that nonsense at the Golden Globes, I just think they just don't care. They just like, you know what, let's just mash up two completely different things into one category, the music and comedy. And the funny thing about when you show the nominations, I'll be perfectly honest with you, Mike. I have not watched not any one of those shows. I'll be like, all I see when you had put up the nomination, I just saw white. I was like, yeah, no, I missed that. But I do know that Emily in Paris was talked about a lot last year, but not for how good it was, for how terrible it was. And the fact that it got nominated just shows you how much of a crappy year we had in movies last year.
You're right, man. You are so right. Like, COVID has really messed up a lot of the award ceremonies for this year. A lot of the award ceremonies. I mean, like, yes, there has been some really great television to come out, and there have been a few really good movies. I don't know if there have been great. I mean, no, like, yeah, like Mank has been nominated. I mean, like David Fincher, how can you go wrong? Trial of Chicago 7 is absolutely fantastic. That might be my favorite movie of the year so far. Ma Rainey's Black Bottom was pretty great. There have been some pretty good movies to come out, but as you point out, this has kind of been 2020 has kind of been a crap year because everything's had to be delayed. Everything's been pushed back. I feel like with the studios, all of the good stuff that the studios have had to share have been kept on ice for a moment. So that they can have a theatrical release so they can actually earn money. And so everything else that's like, this is okay, that's the stuff that they're releasing.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like this this kind of sounds so messed up that I'm saying this, but this is no disrespect to anybody that's been nominated for this year's Golden Globes. But I feel like if you win this year, it's kind of like you're like the fighter that won the championship belt, but you didn't fight the champion to get it. It was just given to you because the champion had to drop out for some reason.
Champion had the flu.
Yeah, he had the flu. Like, here's the belt. Okay, he had to drop. He's got a fraternity test. Like, okay, he's got some stuff going on. Here's the belt. Okay, I feel like that's like if you win, like if I was an actor and I won a Golden Globes this year, I'd be happy, but I'd be like, okay, I kind of feel like the bench player of a championship team is like, I didn't do anything to win this, but I still won.
I agree, but I also really like your observation about like the Golden Globes. They know what they are. They know what they are. They're loosey goosey. It's fun. It's silly. They don't take themselves all that seriously, which is why in the past the Golden Globes has always been really fun to watch. All the celebrities, all of Hollywood, everybody gets together, gets trashed, and let's throw out. It's like a really high class version of what was the award ceremony that they did every year on The Office? Oh, shoot. What was the name of that award?
You know what it reminds me of? Here's an analogy I like to use. The Golden Globes are like the VMAs in music, and the Academy Awards is like the Grammys.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's a great analogy. I never thought of it like that, but I mean, that's true. The big question for all of you guys is, what do you think of the Golden Globes? Do you watch them? Do you care about them? Do you put a lot of clout in the Golden Globes? Are you more kind of along the lines of like Greg and saying like, they know what they are. Like it's just a fun time had by all, and who cares? It doesn't matter. Or do you think that we should maybe take the Golden Globes a little bit more seriously? I'm interested to hear your thoughts. Jump on down to the comment section below and let me know what those are. All right, guys, our next topic of the day is kind of keeping in theme with the Golden Globe nominations. I mean, there's so many, there's a lot of topics that we could kind of break down with the Golden Globes and talk about. There have been a lot of record-breaking, I guess you could say, breakthroughs with the nominations for the Golden Globes. And we'll probably talk more about that moving forward. But one thing that I do want to highlight is that... not necessarily that I want to highlight, but I thought was very odd. When I read this article, my eyebrow went up a little bit. I was like, really? Sacha Baron Cohen has now tied Helen Mirren and Jamie Foxx for the most Golden Globe nominations in history, which is 3. All 3 of them have had 3 nominations during like one particular Golden Globes in one award ceremony, which at first I like, again, my eyebrow shoots up and I go, wait, really? Because I know Lord of the Rings, I understand this was an Academy Awards thing, but they were nominated for 11, was it 11 or 14? Ooh, somebody fact check me on this. I don't know off the top of my head, but it was like 11 or 14. It was a lot. It was a lot, right? So to hear that like any one actor, I don't know, maybe an actor in the Academy Awards. Ooh, maybe I should do more of my homework. Greg, do you happen to know if in the Academy Awards, if any actor has been nominated for more than 3 projects in one award ceremony? I don't know that off the top of my head.
Ooh, I don't know one either. I'm just going to throw a name out there only because the Academy Awards loves this guy. They're like his. The Academy loves this particular filmmaker, Quentin Tarantino. That's the only one I can kind of think. Um, I didn't even know that Sacha Baron Cohen was like he had what 3 nominations and
He's had
one.
like in this particular Golden Globes, Sacha Baron Cohen has had 3 nominations. One as an actor for subsequent movie film, the Borat sequel movie. One nomination as I think like a like a producer on the film, and then one nomination for supporting acting role in Trial of the Chicago 7, which was excellent. Yeah, his performance was great, but the movie was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, he in that he ties Helen Mirren and Jamie Foxx for the only people in the Golden Globes history who've had the most nominations per Golden Globe ceremony, which I think it's. I mean, hey, hats off to the guy. He has proven himself as a pretty good actor, as a Academy Award winning level actor. So I guess this shouldn't necessarily come as a surprise, but it's Sacha Baron Cohen. It's Borat. It just like strikes you in a weird way. They're like, hang on, what? But this is the world that we live in. Greg, do you think this is a result of the COVID garbage year that we've had in 2020? Or do you actually think that this is one of those things that, no, he is completely deserving of these nominations? What are your thoughts?
I'm gonna go with. Can I go half and half on
You
this
can
one?
do
I'm gonna
do
go.
whatever you like. Opinions are like peanut butter. Spread them around.
I'm gonna. I'm gonna go 50-50 on this one, and I'm gonna explain why. Because one, he has proven himself. He is very talented. I mean, from his movies that he's done and the characters that he's played, from Borat to Ali G to The Dictator to Bruno, but he's also been in other films. But he's proven himself to be a great actor. Sweeney Todd. He was really good in Les Mis. So he's been in a lot of dramatic roles and has done other things to prove himself. So I definitely think he's deserving of it. But also, let's keep it 100. Let's keep it a buck. Last year, it was slim pickings. Let's be honest. It was very slim pickings
Yep.
for what they was going to choose. Because like when award season's coming, like around, I'm going to say maybe like around September, end of September-ish. That's when you start to see rumble like the dramatic and indie films,
Yes.
the buzz of what's going to be in Oscar season and everything like that. You really didn't get that this year. So it's like, okay, well, I don't think, like, listen, I'm not trying to say that I don't think this year they care, but I think 2022 is going to be the year that is going to kind of be like the next breakout year of a big Academy Award ceremony or Golden Globes or another award show. I think this year they're kind of just like, okay, cool, yeah,
Yeah,
this is what it is. This is what we got to work with, and
I agree. The like when you look at all the movies that were supposed to come out in 2020, and now they've been pushed back to 2021, and then we have all the other movies that were originally scheduled for 2021. At the award ceremony 2022, we're gonna have a lot of things to choose from. A lot of things to choose from. Really great.
well, I think we have a lot of 2021 too. But it's just that here's the funny thing. It's that what I am happy to see, because I don't know what the Academy Awards is going to do it, but I see the Golden Globes had nominated, what was it, Emily in Paris, which was on Netflix or something like that.
Yeah.
And I remember there was like a debate should Netflix films be nominated for the Academy Award? Well, guess what? Now that we're going into that era of streaming,
Yeah.
which is what it's looking like, now it's kind of good to see that the Academy Award might be eating some crow, because now you won't have no choice but to nominate these films, because that might be the only option, because we're not going into the movie theaters no time soon. I don't care how many people in this country take vaccines. Ain't nobody going to trust going to a movie theater. So they're going to have to conform to what the new wave is. It kind of reminds me of when the whole Napster thing happened, when the pirated music, and that shows you, okay, well, this is what we're gonna go in the future with music. Now it's happening in the movie industry. Like this is where it's gonna go,
Right.
which is gonna be
Right. I mean, this is, as you point out, this is the new normal. This is kind of where we're at. We have to take our situation for what it is. I mean, it's not going to change. We can only move forward. But I go back to the original question. Sacha Baron Cohen, is he deserving? Is he? What do you think? Is he deserving of 3 nominations?
Yeah, because listen, I'll be honest with you, I have not seen the second Borat or the other film, but I do know his work, I know his talent, and yeah, he's definitely deserving.
Awesome. Well, question for you guys is, what do you think of Sacha Baron Cohen being nominated for 3 awards in one Golden Globes ceremony or event, or I don't know what else do you call it? Golden Globes, award ceremony, whatever. What do you think of it? Do you think he's deserving? Do you think it's just because it's leftover remnants from 2020 with whatever we get, or do you think he's deserving of it? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. Moving forward, we have 3 more bits of movie news to cover today. This I'm actually kind of interested and intrigued about. We've been talking pretty much ever since James Gunn's firing over at Disney. He was put on the chopping block unfairly for some horrible tweets that he tweeted out a long time ago. Everyone knew that he had already made recompense for that. He had already changed his ways. That is not the person he is anymore. And the knee-jerk reaction of his firing at Disney was unwarranted. Well, Warner Brothers jumped on the bandwagon and they said, hey, listen, we want to scoop you up. You can direct any movie under the Warner Brothers DC Comics banner that you want. What is it going to be? He said, The Suicide Squad. And everyone's like, really? Actually, that kind of makes a lot of sense. And so was it the Warner Brothers, the DC event, DC fandom they had back in August? They made some pretty cool announcements. We got to see a lot of images. Well, now an official synopsis for The Suicide Squad has dropped officially from Warner Brothers, and this is what they have to say about The Suicide Squad. They say, welcome to hell, aka Belle Reve, the prison with the highest mortality rate in the US of A, where the worst supervillains are kept and where they will do anything to get out, even join the super secret, super shady Task Force X. Today's do or die assignment: assemble a collection of cons, including Bloodsport, Peacemaker, Captain Boomerang, Ratcatcher 2, Savant, King Shark, Blackguard, Javelin, and everyone's favorite psycho, Harley Quinn. Then aim them heavily and this is a really long synopsis, you guys. This is a long synopsis. Then aim them heavily and drop them literally on the remote infused island of Corto Maltese. The synopsis continues. Trekking through the jungle, teeming with militant adversaries and guerrilla forces at every turn, the squad is on search and destroy mission with only Colonel Rick Flag on the ground to make them behave. And Amanda Waller's government techies in their ears, tracking their every movement. And as always, one wrong move and they're dead, with their hands of, whether at the hands of their opponents, a teammate, or Waller herself. If anyone's laying down bets, the smart money is against them. All of them. So there's the official synopsis from Suicide Squad, really of Suicide Squad from Warner Brothers. And we get one juicy morsel. We get one big juicy morsel out of this. And, as this article points out, at the end of the first part of the synopsis, they drop the name Corto Maltese. Now, if anyone is familiar with Corto Maltese in the comics, that is because There was a famous comic of the Suicide Squad where an entire Task Force X team goes down to Corto Maltese. This like civil war going on in Corto Maltese where Superman gets involved and nuclear missiles are involved, and there's of course, this took place during the Cold War. So the Russians are, supporting the rebels, and the United States is supporting the government of Corto Maltese. And of course, Task Force X is there to kind of like get everything to settle down with nuclear warfare on the horizon. Of course, Superman gets involved, and he takes a missile and he throws it out, or it takes a nuclear warhead and he throws it away. Just trying to get it away from Corto Maltese, but in doing so, he throws it to another part of the Earth, ready for the Earth to explode in a different part of the world. It's a whole kettle of fish. So that is the big kind of takeaway from this particular synopsis. But we also know that this is kind of like a 70s war epic. It's going to have, like, with James Gunn at the helm, this is going to be, in my opinion, now, this could be a terrible film, but it looks to be like a fun movie. We've already had some glimpses of it. We've had some flashes of the trailer. I'm a huge proponent for Pete Davidson, who's playing Blackguard, to die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. I hope so much Pete Davidson dies in the first 5 to 10. Why do I keep clicking on this? Sorry about that. I hate Pete Davidson so much.
Damn.
Oh man, he and Billie Eilish. If anyone who's been watching this show, you know that I have no love for Pete Davidson or Billie Eilish. Full disclosure, I have nothing against them personally. I've never met them. I have no idea if they're nice people or garbage people. I assume they're nice people. I mean, they're artists and they've won awards and they look like they're having fun, so doing what they're doing. So I have nothing against them personally. I just hate their image. I hate the image of Pete Davidson. I hate the image of Billie Eilish. Anyway, yeah. So do I still have this up? Let me see if I still have this up. The Pete Davidson Deadpool. Oh, I think I took it down. Oh, there it is. The Pete Davidson Deadpool was my running thing to see. Is Pete Davidson gonna die? What's his? How long? Here's a former graphic. How long will it take for Blackguard to die in the Suicide Squad? It's either going to be 5 minutes of screen time or 20 minutes into the movie. Yeah, I don't want Pete Davidson in this movie because I just don't like Pete Davidson. Anyway, that's a whole thing aside. Greg, you've heard the synopsis, whether you've read the synopsis or you've heard me read it. What do you think of the Suicide Squad? We know that James Gunn is not going to have any connection at all to the previous Suicide Squad directed by David Ayer. Even though there are some familiar faces from the other film, this is wiping the slate clean. It's brand new. It's fresh. What do you think of this? And how do you think the whole thing's going to shake out?
I've been excited since I heard about it, especially that James Gunn is attached to it. He's directing it. When I heard he was directing it, I was like, sounds like it's in good hands to me because we know what he did with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Funny you mentioned Pete Davidson dying in the first 5 minutes because I remember me and the Camp Nas crew when we first saw the trailer back in August when the Warner Brothers did their thing. We were all taking bets to see who were going to be the ones to die within the first 5 minutes because that cast is humongous.
It's huge.
There's no way in hell that is getting to the end. There's no way in hell that the whole cast is getting to the middle of the film. So we was just taking bets to see who was going to get it first. I like Pete Davidson. I think he's a cool dude.
No, you don't.
He's definitely
no, you don't. Don't delude yourself.
But But he's definitely one of the ones that's definitely going to get axed within the first 5 minutes. But I'm very happy to see a particular character in this film that I wish they would have put in the first one, but now I'm glad that they kept him out and they bring him in here, and that is King Shark. I'm a big fan of King Shark, and that's who I'm most excited to see in action. I was not happy with the whole that they chose Killer Croc for the first Suicide Squad film, and they totally botched that. Hell, they botched that whole film, but that's another topic, another discussion for another day. But like I said, James Gunn is homing it. I'm just waiting to see what it's going to do. You know, it's going to be on HBO Max, I believe, right?
First of all, I
we get to watch this at the.
Oh, sorry, real quick. I just need to apologize to anyone who's watching this right now. Greg, your screen keeps resizing itself. That is not me. I am not resizing your screen. It is through no fault of Greg's. That is my streaming software. For whatever reason, my streaming software likes to resize the windows of my guests during the show. So, I mean, there's only so much that I can do about it. My apologies. But, Greg, you were saying, please continue.
So like I said, I'm excited to see King Shark. I'm excited to see Idris Elba as he's playing Bloodsport, I believe. Bloodsport, because let's be honest, that was supposed to be what's your face, Will Smith's character. Why am I blanking on his name?
Deadshot.
Deadshot, yeah, that was supposed to be Deadshot. Let's be honest, that was supposed to be Deadshot. They couldn't get Will, so they went with another character and got Idris Elba. But I think James Gunn. What I like about James Gunn is that he definitely gets, any property that he does, he definitely gets to the soul of it, like he did with Guardians, like he did with Slither. If you've seen Slither, great horror film, recommended. He's really good with characters, so it's going to be interesting to see the dynamic between the actors. Like John Cena playing Peacemaker, bringing back Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn.
Polka Dot Man.
Polka Dot Man.
Like that is what. Like, I mean, first of all, you say why, but then you're like, well, yeah, why not?
And that's what? Here's the thing. This is what I love about the Suicide Squad 2 film, right? And I feel like this is definitely James Gunn's doing. Is that he went to Warner Brothers in DC, said, listen, this works for Marvel, okay? If you're gonna do anything, just listen to me on this one. Trust that you can make a great property with lesser known characters. And DC has always been kind of scared to tread that water. They always like to go to the familiar face.
They do.
And that familiar face is Batman. I don't want to see another damn Batman film for another. I'm glad that the Batman got pushed back another year. Like, we need a break from the Batman universe. But to go and say, listen, like, it worked for Marvel. Marvel had to make lemons out of lemonade. When the Marvel studio started, they did not have the rights to all the big name A-list superheroes that they wanted to have. Sure. They were owned by other properties, other studios. Sure. So they had to they went to the B list and took a character like Tony Stark, like Iron Man, and brought him from the B team to the A team.
Which at the time, I don't think people remember that at the time, in 2008, Iron Man had no love. Nobody, I mean, like, yeah, you had your hardcore fans, but in general, nobody liked Iron Man. If you read Marvel Comics, again, he had his hardcore fans, yes, but in general, nobody had love for Iron Man. Or Captain America, for that matter.
They were, listen, they were, well, here's the thing. Captain America kind of always floated in between the A and the B team. He kind of went either way. But Iron Man's always been part of that B-list status, and even forward to a certain extent. When you thought of Marvel, you always thought of the usual suspects: Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Punisher, and the Incredible Hulk. Those are the usual suspects. And Fantastic Four. But they was like, all right, we got to make lemons out of lemonade, and they did. So they got the properties to the other characters that they wanted. And I think DC needs to follow that same formula. Just be like, hey, listen, if Suicide Squad 2 does very well, hopefully that gives DC and Warner Brothers, some, courage to go, okay, maybe we should try lesser known characters. Like, you look with Marvel, well, not Marvel, more or less 20th Century Fox when they owned the property, what they did with Deadpool. Even though Deadpool was popular, but let's be honest, Deadpool was popular amongst us comic book fans. It wasn't popular mainstream. And I think DC could do the same thing with someone like Lobo, for example.
Lobo. Uh, Lobo's an interesting character. That's that's a deep cut there as well. Lobo, kind of like the crossover between what Deadpool and what's his name, Omega Red. He looks like Omega Red, but he acts like Deadpool. Yeah, very very odd. What about the description? What about the Corto Maltese kind of Easter egg or spoiler, I guess, if you want to call it like a mild spoiler?
That was a spoiler. Well, it was a spoiler for us. It was a spoiler for us, but not for the general public.
Nobody's going to know what that means.
Yeah, they're marking this towards the mainstream. Yeah. They're not, much as the comic book fans, we're the ones that are going to pump this. We have to understand, as like nerds or whatever you want to call us, they're not making any of these films for us. Like, you know what I mean? We got to stop getting back. They're not making it for us. They got to make money as a studio, so they're gonna market it towards the general public.
So that being said, before here, I have a question that I want to pose to you. Before it was announced that James Gunn was going to do Suicide Squad, or like a reboot of Suicide Squad, it was heavily postulated for a moment that he was going to do the Man of Steel sequel. He was going to do a standalone Superman movie. His name was kind of tied to the Superman property for a while. Not with any credibility. It was just all speculation. And now, I mean, yeah, okay, cool. He's doing a Suicide Squad movie. But now with the Corto Maltese, sorry, my cat is trying to get out of the office right now. So give me 1 second, and I'll let her out. But now with the Corto Maltese Easter egg Easter egg potential spoiler, 50-50 chance. What do you think the chances are going to be that we see Superman, whether it's Henry Cavill or not? What are the chances that we're going to see Superman make a cameo in this movie?
I think there's a good chance that he'll make a cameo. He might do like what they did with I don't know if you've seen Shazam. Spoiler alert, after credits he's in there, but you don't see Henry Cavill's head. You just see them. You know it's him, but you just see the body. Obviously the body double, but it's that Superman. So there's a good possibility that he can make it an appearance. If he does, it's probably going to be along that line, and it's going to stay that way. I know James Gunn was attached to the Man of Steel property, but after he made his reconciliation with Marvel, I don't know if Marvel's going to allow that. Nah, you bring your ass back here. So he might just probably keep it as a cameo, and then if he decides to do a third one or do something else with DC, he probably will go revisit it. But honestly, if it's a cameo, I'm just going to take it as a cameo because there's no consistency and no continuity with the whole DCEU.
You would be completely correct in saying that there is no consistency between the DC movies.
Goes out the door with them.
But isn't that kind of refreshing though? In that we do kind of get to still, like, if it's a Marvel Studios film, it is going to be a very particular flavor. It is going to, like, everything is going to tie into itself. We all know that this universe that Marvel Studios is building is all interconnected. But isn't there something kind of poetic and fun about seeing a like going into a DC property that you don't exactly know? Like, is this connected? Is it not connected? Does this just get to be its own thing? What are we doing here? Do you see that as refreshing at all, or are you more into the interconnectivity of things?
I'm on the interconnectivity things because it's too damn confusing. Okay, I need some kind. It's too damn confusing. And on top, here's the thing: I'm a comic book guy. I'm a nerd. I grew up with these characters. I listen. I'm not just a Marvel fanboy. I love DC. I grew up with those characters too. I want to see those characters done right too. You know, and I almost thought that maybe, excuse me, Warner Brothers and DC kind of corrected it with the whole Crisis on Infinite Earths on the CW when they did all that. Because it was like, oh, okay, that's clever. That's a kind of a soft reboot way to kind of get things, you know. There's you know, the multiverse, and it shows like Marvel, like, hey, we know you're doing the multiverse. We got you. We beat you to the punch. You know what I mean? But like I said, there's no consistency with them because I think what's missing with them is that they don't have a Kevin Feige. Okay, Kevin Feige or Feige, I don't know how to pronounce his last name. Feige. Kevin Feige, you know, he heads the Marvel Studios and he oversees everything. There's not one particular person for that with DC. And I think that's where the problem is. They need somebody to like oversee everything to say, okay, well, this is the plan because obviously every phase Marvel has a blueprint of what the end goal is or what the end game is, no pun intended. But DC is just like, we'll just throw the papers in and let the chips fall where they fall. Let everybody do their own thing. And I think that's the problem, that they have these standalone films and everybody has their own thing, but it's like they don't consult with each other. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. And I think that's where it gets kind of
well. No, yeah, I mean you're completely right. Like they don't missing that central Kevin Feige figure. I mean they do have Walter Hamada right now. Walter, I can't remember the name of the president from the former president of DC Films, but now it's Walter Hamada. He's kind of steered the DC ship in a better direction. I mean, look at Shazam. Earlier you mentioned Shazam. That was great. Aquaman was kind of a fun, crazy movie directed by Justin Lin. And then we get Wonder Woman. Admittedly, came before Walter Hamada's tenure. And then, you know, the standalone Joker film. And now we're getting the Suicide Squad and a reimagined Zack Snyder Justice League movie? We'll talk about that in a second. But Walter Hamada, while doing some good and trying to bring some fun and levity into the DCEU, or whatever we're calling, like, are there multiple universes within this film series? I don't know, whatever. You're right. They don't have a singular vision. There is no singular vision. And it's kind of a similar problem with, Star Wars and Kathleen Kennedy. And, you know, she's one of the best producers in the business. Look at her track record. Look at her awards. But running a studio is different from producing a film. And
exactly.
And, you know, I think that's where, you know, Kathleen Kennedy has fallen a little short. I think that's also where Walter Hamada has fallen short. Also, look at all the controversy that is happening with, there's the whole Ray Fisher situation, you know, Cyborg from Justice League. There is all the stuff going on with Ezra Miller. I don't know if you remember, but there was that Ezra Miller controversy where he pretty much grabbed a woman by the throat and forced her to the ground because she was kind of making fun of him. And it was caught on video. And there has been no repercussions from that whatsoever. The whole Johnny Depp thing got swept under the rug for a while until now it's forefront in everyone's minds. And finally, DC's hand was kind of, Warner Brothers' hands were tied. And they said, okay, well, now we have to sever ties with you, Johnny Depp. So there's a little bit of controversy going on over at Warner Brothers as well. Not to mention that they just upset how many studios and directors by announcing they're putting all of their big major blockbusters on HBO Max the same day they're coming out in theaters. They've really upset the balance here. So,
here's the thing with that. I will give credit to Warner Brothers for being the first ones to say, all right, you know what? Whoever does this first, It's gonna be hated. So you know what? Let it be us. You know what I mean? And they said, "Screw it, let's do it." Because here's the thing: a lot of these studios, they got to hear the rumblings of other things that's going on. So Warner Brothers is not stupid. They know what Disney was planning to do with Disney Plus because they had to, because everybody's still waiting. Like, what did I get this app for? For nostalgia? No. And then because Warner Brothers know. Listen, they know the competition is okay, and they know Disney got something up their sleeve because Disney loves to pull that petty card. They always see Warner Brothers will drop something, and Disney will just sit back and go, "Oh, that's so cute."
Disney has the money to keep an ace up their sleeve at all times.
Oh yeah, absolutely, they do, and they know it, and they love doing it. I remember when the first Wonder Woman came out, and everybody was talking about it, and then Disney coincidentally drops the Black Panther trailer that week, and no one gave a crap about Wonder Woman anymore. It was all about Black Panther. Like, I can't wait till next year that came out. So Disney definitely knows what they're doing. But yeah, going back to you saying, yeah, Warner Brother definitely upset the status quo with that. But what are these studios going to do? Are they going to keep sitting on these films? Like, how long is Disney going to sit on Black Widow at this point? It's like, come on. Like, just at this point.
I mean, when it's a potential billion-dollar film, they have an opportunity to make. I mean, it's not guaranteed to make $1 billion, but if they release it on Disney Plus, they're gonna. What's the return on their investment? They've already invested $200 million into the movie. They've spent a ton of it, like maybe $100 million at this point, on advertising. If it does come out in theaters, they have to spend that much more. And, if it just goes straight to Disney Plus, they're not going to make that kind of a return on their investment, even if they do like a premium rental, like what they did with Mulan. Mulan lost money. Mulan lost money, and they can't afford to lose that kind of money with Black Widow. It's got to stay in the can.
Yeah, but I mean, is it though? Because look at Wonder Woman 84 though.
What about it?
Did it make the money back that it's?
They're not. Nobody's releasing the numbers right now. So there's projections. I believe like the kind of postulation that is coming out right now about Wonder Woman 84 is that it was just kind of breaking even. The money that it made in theaters, because again, that movie Wonder Woman 84 is an interesting thing too, because Warner Brothers also did the media advertising. So essentially the schematic, or the matrix rather, to how to project how much money a film needs to make in order for it to make money. You have the amount of money that it costs to make the film. Wonder Woman, $200 million. And then you have to double that for advertising. So now there's another $200 million. So now we're at $400 million. And then whenever it plays in theaters, you have to multiply that 400 by 1.5, which is essentially another $200 million. So in order for that movie to break even, because you have to pay the movie theaters, that's what that 1.5 is. You have to pay the movie theaters. Sometimes it's a little bit less, sometimes it's a little bit more, but on average, approximately it's 1.5, right? So now we're looking at $600 million just for that movie to break even. Same thing with Justice League. Justice League, I think, came in at worldwide box office was like $640 million, something like that. So they just barely broke even. They turned a tiny little profit.
That's just the best.
I think that was worldwide. I believe that was worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
I may be incorrect, but I believe that was worldwide. Anyway, I mean, we could go on and talk about this for forever, but it all started with the Suicide Squad. Guys, what do you think about the Suicide Squad? So we've kind of been talking about the Suicide Squad for a while now. What do you guys think about it? Are you excited for it? What do you think the big spoilers from the description, from the synopsis mean? Do you think there's a chance a Superman is going to show up? Do you think they're going to follow that storyline? Do you think they're going to pull like a Captain America Civil War and kind of keep the essence of what it is and go in a completely different direction? What do you guys think? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, moving on with the same theme or the same topic of DC films and all the rest of it. It would appear that, and we've heard reports that Jared Leto is coming back to reprise his role as the Joker in the upcoming Zack Snyder cut of the Justice League movie. And we get our first look at, well, first of all, 5 days ago, the movie poster, the official movie poster for the Snyder cut of Justice League was released along with the date. Now, I have previously said, I think it was like a week ago on this show, I said, you know what, everyone's taking Zack Snyder's words out of context. It's not going to come out in March. They're going to do it much later in the year. Well, apparently I was wrong. I have got to eat my own words, to eat crow. I have to eat crow in that regard. The crowing. But yeah, so Justice League coming out March 18th on HBO Max, exclusively on HBO Max. And now we get our first kind of official look at Jared Leto's Joker. Not really, but kind of. So this is our first official look of Joker, of Jared Leto's reimagined Joker in the Justice League film. 4-hour movie, I guess. It's just going to be a straight 4-hour cut, which, ooh, that's asking a lot of your audience, you guys. In this particular photo, there's a few interesting things to note from my purview. One is the card that he's holding up front and center. This is the same. If you look closely at the card, the face of the Joker on the card is the same. It's the same. I know, like the same face of the Joker, but it's the version of Joker that we originally saw in the 1930s comics of Batman. The first appearance of Joker in a Batman comic book, I think it was Batman #1. I believe, somebody correct me on that. But I believe it was Batman #1 was the first appearance of the Joker. And this was the exact face, or like the configuration of that's what the Joker looked like. So I think that's interesting to note. Second thing, when you look at the blurry image of Jared Leto's Joker in the background of this photo, it evokes a strong Heath Ledger vibe, and it also evokes a strong Joaquin Phoenix vibe. It looks like they're finding a happy medium between Joaquin Phoenix and Heath Ledger, because those two versions of the Joker hit really well with audiences. Jared Leto's Joker from the 2016 David Ayer film Suicide Squad didn't really hit well with audiences. I mean, I thought it was an interesting interpretation. I didn't hate it. It's not a good movie, but whatever. I think, we know we're not going to get much of Jared Leto's Joker in this Justice League movie. He doesn't play a huge role in the movie, but he's going to make an appearance. I think this is a good direction to go in. If he indeed does look what we kind of think he's going to look like, I think this could redeem the image of Jared Leto's Joker. I think it's going to potentially go over much better with audiences than the previous incarnation of Joker, Jared Leto's Joker does. Greg, you're looking at this photo. You're seeing it possibly for the first time. What do you think? Like, how does this strike you? Do you think we should just get over it? Or do you think this is an interesting road to go down? Where do you sit?
Well, first, I'd like to say I admire your optimism. I don't know. I mean, Jared Leto, if you're watching, just shut up. Like I get it. I get it. He's trying. He he's trying to get up there with Heath Ledger and Joaquin Phoenix and Jack Nicholson, hell, even Cesar Romero, and the greatest Joker, in my opinion, Mark Hamill. He's trying to get up there, but it's not going to happen. I don't care what they do. I mean, I don't know. It's a blurry picture, but he looks like he went from like a trap rapper in Suicide Squad to a meth addict. Like he just got strung out on meth. So I don't know what's happening right now. But I don't know. I honestly, I'll be honest with you.
Oh.
I really don't care, and I'm telling you why. Because
Greg, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. Greg, you're kind of breaking up a little bit. I can hear you now. Yeah, you were breaking up there for a second. Let's start your thought back up again. Let's see if we can get you better in.
No, what I was saying was, I mean, we're not going to know anything till the Zack Snyder cut comes out, because everybody's like, oh, you've been hearing different reports saying, oh, it's only going to be like 10 minutes long. Oh, it's going to be an entirely different film. Jared Leto's probably only playing a small role in there, but after his performance in the first Suicide Squad film, I really don't care, because he was just not a good Joker. I mean, he wasn't in it that long to really you could assess properly, but from what I saw, I felt like he was doing an in-person should be. Like if he looks like if you went to like a Comic-Con and you saw a cosplayer and you're like, can I take a picture with you? He's like, like starts acting crazy and being in character. Like that's what Jared Leto did. You know what I mean? So, I remember when he was doing unnecessary stuff like milling dead rats to his like, dude, just stop it. You're a weirdo.
Hey, Greg, do me a favor. I'm only seeing the bottom half of your face. Do you mind readjusting your camera a little bit? Perfect.
Okay. Do you see me now? Okay. Yeah, so I'm just like, you know what? Whoever makes Jared Leto heart, just whatever makes his weird little heart desire. If he wants to play the Joker again, be my guest. I don't really see anything being different.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what this the new reimagined version of Joker looks like, and the images that are being conjured up for me right now. Do you remember when Spider-Man Turn Off the Dark came to Broadway? And there were all those injuries and people falling off of wires and people getting injured. And the story, oh my dear heavens, the story was quite abysmal. And then it shut down for like a month or 2 months. And then they reopened with a grand reimagined version. And that was the version that I got to see on Broadway. And it was still a heaping pile of garbage. It was so bad.
Of course, it's Spider-Man the musical.
they could have done a really cool thing with it. The effects of them like swinging around the theater, all that stuff was awesome. The visuals of how they fall in slow motion, like from like through the audience and like from the top of the stage, and the visuals that they used, the visuals were incredible. How do you mess up a Spider-Man origin story? That's all it was. It was a retelling of like the first Spider-Man Sam Raimi film, but they completely botched it. It was so bad. But that's the imagery that I'm getting conjured up with this when I'm seeing like, all right, there's some potential here, but I'm not holding my breath. I'm interested to see what they do, because it does look like a drastically different version of the Joker. Now that being said, it could very well be the same Joker. He just grew his hair out, and maybe he's just like taking on a different look. Maybe he doesn't want to play the gangster so much anymore as what he did in Suicide Squad. But maybe they're reimagining this thing so that they can all. Somebody said something in the comments that are it's not very nice.
Ouch.
Yeah, I will not be reading that on the air, as we try to keep this a family show. Yeah, so but yeah, I I'm kind of the same thing with the Justice League 4-hour movie in general. I'm interested to see what it is. I'm interested to see how Zack Snyder's version plays out. But I don't know. Big question for you guys is, what do you think of the reimagined Joker that is coming out in Zack Snyder's Justice League? Do you think it looks interesting? Do you think it looks compelling? Does it get you more excited, or are you more like Gregory and just kind of like, I'm over it. Let's move on. Let's see what else we got here. Enough of this cosplayer nonsense in the movies. Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, we have wow. Okay. Sorry, I'm reading comments. Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we have one last bit of movie news to cover, and that is this. The trailer for Coming to America has finally dropped. We had a teaser trailer that came out last month. This month, or rather, today, we get a fresh look. A brand new trailer. It's a full-length trailer. I've gone on record multiple times on the show and in my personal life saying that, Coming to America, the first Coming to America with Eddie Murphy, yeah, it's a good movie. It's a funny movie. I like it. I have not loved it the same way that apparently the rest of America or the rest of the world.
This interview is over.
I'm sorry. Wait, what did you just say?
This interview's over.
This interview's over. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like it's a fine movie. I've enjoyed it. But I've got to say, the trailer to this sequel, Coming to America, it got me. I think it looks like a great trailer. It looks really funny. I totally got hooked with this. Greg, have you had a chance to see the trailer? And if so, what were your thoughts?
Yes, I saw the trailer. I actually watched it twice. And I'm excited to see it because, one, this movie, I believe, is going to bring two words that I thought I'd never hear, and that is Black unity. Oh, yes, Black unity, because this is going to bring Black folks together. Because I saw the trailer of this. I'm very excited to see it. It looks very funny. There's one question I have, is that how are the barbershop guys, the barbers, how are they still alive? They should be like 100 by now. Because I was like, when they put the first teaser trailer out, I was like, okay, what's the timeline? Maybe this is set in the 90s or something. I don't know. But it looks like it's set in present day. And I'm like, these dudes were old as hell back then. How are they still kicking? But whatever.
I contend. This is my argument to that. Maggie Smith was an old grandmother in 1991, and she is still an old grandmother in 2021. 30 years later, she's still ridiculously old. So, same thing with Betty White. When she was on the Mary Tyler Moore show, she was old. She was old on the Golden Girls, and she's still old today. Say what?
She's been old forever. We've never known Betty White young.
Yeah. So that's also suspension of disbelief. That's what I choose.
But yeah, I'm very, very excited. I'm also very excited. You know who? I'm gonna tell you the thing when I watched that trailer. The one person that I'm excited to see in this film, believe it or not, is Wesley Snipes. And I will tell you why. Because if you saw My Name is Dolomite on Netflix, which is the story of Rudy Ray Moore, glorious. Wesley stole the show. Wesley Snipes stole the show. And I'm like, to the point I even felt that I felt like he should have got nominated. I know it was a stretch, but I felt like he should have got nominated last year for that role. But just to see what he was doing in that film, he's going to be a scene stealer in this film. So he's probably the one person I'm excited to see what he's going to do with his character. and Coming to America too. And also, we know Eddie Murphy loves to play different characters. He's coming back. Him and Arsenio Hall are coming back playing familiar characters that we saw in the first one. But I'm also wanting to see, are there going to be any new characters? I know there was one new character they did show. It was like this witch doctor type of character that looked very funny, played by Eddie Murphy. But I'm also interested to see if there are going to be any other new characters that they're not showing in the trailer that him and Arsenio are going to be playing. So that's going to be interesting. And I'm also excited to see the other comedians in the film, because this is a film of like kind of like a who's who comedy. Now you got Leslie Jones. I don't know why I'm blaming the comedian's name is playing his son.
I'll be honest, I didn't know that Leslie Jones was in the movie until I saw this trailer. For some reason, I got lost on me.
I'm sorry.
No, that just got lost on me.
Yeah. I knew because I heard about the cast last year, but I didn't know who she was playing. And they also brought back other the characters for the first film. And I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. Okay, this is a bold prediction, Mike. Okay, I could be wrong. This is a bold prediction that there is a character from the first one that might make a cameo in the second one. This is just my own theory that I'm hoping is going to happen. Do you know who this character is?
I've only seen the film a couple of times. I'm not that well because I like the movie. I think it's a funny movie. I just don't love it the way that other people love it. So I don't rewatch it again and again and again like I do other films. So you're gonna have to take me to school on this one.
Well, Sam Jackson played a small but big role in the film where he played the dude that stuck up McDowell's. And it was a famous scene. So my theory is hopefully maybe Sam Jackson makes an appearance as that character in the new Coming to America too. Maybe when Hakeem and Cindy go back to America to get Hakeem's long lost son, they might run into this guy. Maybe he has changed his life and he wants to thank them for doing what they did when he tried to rob McDowell's 30 years ago. I think that would be cool if they did. If they don't, okay, but if they have that
that'd be wonderful.
Back, that would be good.
You talk about the cameo, or rather the performance that you're looking forward to the most is Wesley Snipes. For me, it would be Eddie Murphy himself. I've always been very fascinated with Eddie Murphy's career. He got started. He was cast on SNL at the age of 19. He was an virtual unknown. He'd done some stand up in the underground world, but man, oh man, he rose to power really on SNL. Single-handedly, it is attributed, he single-handedly saved the show from cancellation.
He did. They even said it was him and Joe
Piscopo, yeah. And I attribute more of that to Eddie Murphy than Joe Piscopo.
Eddie Murphy. Well, yeah, absolutely. But they were very good on. If you watch those old episodes, they were very good.
Oh, they were fantastic. Yeah.
Screen together. But also too, keep in mind. Also, that was when Lorne Michael had left briefly, because I don't think Eddie Murphy was under Lorne Michael's regime.
Correct.
He had left briefly.
Correct.
And then Eddie came, but Eddie Murphy's always been in my top 5, top 10, whatever comics of all time, because Eddie Murphy did something that no other comic has done, and I think that if Eddie wasn't the first to do it, we wouldn't have comedians like Jamie Foxx, going into different directions in Hollywood, because Eddie Murphy was first, to me, in my opinion. If there is, please correct me, but Eddie Murphy was the first comedian that became a leading man. Because before Eddie Murphy, comedians kind of looked a certain way. When they were in the movies, they was always the sidekick. They were the buffoon.
Jerry Lewis kind of, I don't know if he paved the way, but or even just go back even further. Charlie Chaplin, he was the highest paid actor of all time. He may still hold that record. I'm unsure. But for a long time.
Charlie Chaplin and Jerry Lewis were not sex symbols. Like, you know what I mean? Like Eddie was different. Like for example, like Eddie was 19 when he got on SNL. And I think he was I think he was 19 when he did Delirious, and he had the famous red leather outfit. He had the famous leather outfit when he did Raw, a couple of years
Yep.
later. But he was his age. He was young. He was like, during that time, hip hop was big and R&B was huge. So he dressed his age. He was hip. And like, yeah, there were other comedians that may have been leading men, but he was like the first leading man. Like most comedians, yeah, they may have started on film, but they were still, being the comic relief. Where Eddie was like, you know what? I'm also going to be Axel Foley. I'm going to be a cop. I'm going to be an action hero. I'm going to do Beverly Hills Cop. I'm going to do 48 Hours. I'm going to do a movie like Boomerang, and my character is a player. And
Don't
the
forget
sex
Vampire in
symbol.
Brooklyn.
And Vampire in Brooklyn, which was really a horror film. He took a chance with that. Wes Craven
Yeah.
directed it. Like Eddie Murphy, like women loved him. Like women thought he was sexy. Like he was and then he to me paved the way for like other comedians to be leading men. Like if it wasn't for Eddie doing Beverly Hills Cop, I don't know if we would have got Martin Lawrence and Bad Boys with Will Smith. I don't know if we would have got Jamie Foxx and the movies he has done when he's played action roles and been the leading man himself, like Django and Miami Vice and so on and so forth. Do you know what I mean? So I think Eddie Murphy was the first one to do that. You know what I mean?
I'm not so sure I agree with that assessment. But the power, because he was also a product of his time too, right? I mean, look at like other comedians like Richard Pryor and George Carlin, or even well, not necessarily Mel Brooks. That was a completely different thing, but Eddie Murphy was a product of his time. He, like, the culture at the time when he rose to fame in the early to mid 80s, like, sex was becoming sellable. In the 60s, sex had its version of sellability, but it really didn't start becoming a big commercial product until the 80s. And Eddie Murphy totally took advantage of that. And he's a sexy man. He's a charismatic guy. People like him. He's funny. I'm not entirely sure. I agree with your argument that he was the first to do it, but I will say this, that he kind of reinvented the wheel when it was his turn. He reinvented the wheel and paved the way for dare I say non-traditional or rather what am I trying to say, a diverse cast of people to take the reins and to go off, like you say, like Martin Lawrence. I think he was funny. I used to watch the show Martin. Would he have risen to fame if it weren't for people like Eddie Murphy? Probably not. But then, like, the host of other people that came after, I think, yeah, you're right. Eddie Murphy paved the way and tread new ground in that regard. Where he did take risks. Do you think that's fair to say, or do you think I'm overstepping my bounds?
No, I think it's fair. I think you're overstepping your bounds saying that the Martin show was okay. That show is. Let me tell you something. Coming to America and Martin, the TV show, are national treasures to Black people.
What was the first one? I missed the first one.
The first Coming to America.
Oh, okay.
And Martin, the show. Those are treasures. Like if there was a Black Smithsonian, both those films, that film and that TV show would be in there.
I agree.
But no, it's a fair assessment. I just think he was just the first one because, like I said, comedians, yeah, they were leading men, they were doing things, and he was reinventing the wheel. He was doing things his way, but there still wasn't a comedian that was doing the films that he was doing.
Well, they also traditionally weren't allowed either. You had a lot of censorship in the 60s, 70s, and then a lot of that censorship when censors realized that the culture had changed.
Not necessarily, because Richard Pryor was in The Mac, which was a blaxploitation film. There were a lot, especially in the 70s. Oh, they got away with a lot of shit.
That's where it started, but it didn't become popular until the 80s. It didn't become mainstream.
I agree with you. And also, Eddie came at a time where in the 80s, it was the age of the rock star. So he was kind of larger than life. But Eddie was the first one to say, okay, yeah, I can also sing too. Granted, his singing career ain't that been good, but he can sing. This is before Jamie Foxx. And a lot of people don't know that Richard Pryor was a singer and that he was a good singer, but he chose not to go that path. He was like, I'm what I do. And he was like, no, I'm going to do music. I'm going to do movies. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And he was the first one to do that, which paved the way for other multifaceted comedians to do the same.
All of that is to say, I'm very much looking forward to Eddie Murphy's performance in this movie. That's the rabbit hole that we went down. But yeah, I'm very much looking forward to this film. I was interested in it before, but this trailer really made me excited for it. I've telling tales out of school, I chuckled wholeheartedly quite a lot throughout this trailer. So yeah, it's totally doing it for me. Totally doing it for me. Gregory, last thoughts.
Last thoughts. Like I said, I'm excited for Coming to America 2. I'm excited for Suicide Squad 2. I'm excited for a lot of films coming up this year. And I'm also excited to see how the Golden Globes are going to turn out because we're still in the
Well, we'll cover that stuff in a second, but specifically regarding Coming to America.
Oh, Coming to America. Yeah, I'm excited to see it, to see where it's going to go. I'm excited to see it. It's been 30 years since the first one, so it can go either way. It can either be really great or it could be kind of trash. So we'll see when it comes out in March.
Question for you guys is, what do you think of the upcoming Coming to America trailer? Do you think it's going to be great? Do you think it's going to be trash? I kind of don't think it's going to be trash. I think it's actually going to be a lot of fun, especially based on this trailer. It totally rose my excitement for it. But yeah, like I said, what do you think of it? Jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys, we've come to the part of the show where we take your live comments and questions you've been firing in. Mostly positive live comments and questions all show long. We have a string at the end. Like I said, not so nice. We will not be covering those comments, but we will take your other live comments and questions right now.
Alive! It's alive! It's alive!
All right, you guys, some of you have been firing in live comments and questions all show long. So, Gregory, let's start off with our first comment of the day. It comes from Matthew Wiles, who lives in Leeds in England. And Matthew says, like the Oscars, the Golden Globes are just TV and film execs patting themselves on the back, and it doesn't need to make sense. I think that is that's the perfect explanation. What do you think of that, Greg?
That's perfect. That's all it is. That's all it is. It's just, the night for them to pat themselves on the back, all the Hollywood cliques get together and, who's wearing the hottest thing. But then again, I'm in the industry myself, so I'd be like, yeah, it's crap. But then when I get invited, I'm like, well, I think it's a prestige thing, Woo, what you talk? Don't you dare talk about the Golden Globes like that. Mm-hmm. They are.
I would do the same exact thing. My cousin, Tiffany Beery. Tiffany, if you're still watching, how you doing? Thanks for watching. Tiffany says, Google says that the most nominations for one single actor during an awards program was 3. All right. So thank you for doing that research for me. Thanks for looking that up. So yeah, any actor being nominated for more than one project, the highest number is 3. So thank you for looking that up. Yeah, it's kind of impressive. It's kind of impressive when you look at and I'm going to use this term lovingly, schmo. When you look at a schmo like Sacha Baron Cohen, he's not really that much of a schmo at all. I mean, like earlier you pointed out, Gregory, characters like Ali G, obviously Borat, like all of his other characters that he's done, Bruno, the Dictator, that whole, like, he does a lot of stunt, shock-based humor, and that's what he's primarily known for. But also look at look at the commentary that he was able to start, the conversation that he was able to create with the second Borat film. Whether you saw the film or not, I'm sure everybody has heard something about the antics that took place during this movie, specifically regarding, and I'm not going to get involved in politics here, but Rudy Giuliani. Whether you thought it was clever or smart or fun of him to pull a prank on Rudy Giuliani, or whether you're against that, you're probably aware of it, and you have an opinion of it. So now we get to have a conversation about it, and I think that is the real brilliance of Sacha Baron Cohen. So my knee-jerk reaction is, what? Really? He's nominated for 3 awards in one ceremony? But when you stop and think about it, it kind of makes sense. What do you think, Greg?
Yeah, because it makes sense because, like you said, he's he comes from that whole shock prank humor. But the one thing I do credit Sacha Baron Cohen is that he made it like an art form, where he's saying something underneath it. You know what I mean? It's not like what Tom Green was doing back in the day, or even what Eric Andre's doing. And I'm a big Eric
Andre is hilarious, but yeah, there's not a lot of like commentary beneath his stuff.
Eric Andre's hilarious, but oh, sorry, I was getting a call. But yeah, Eric Andre is hilarious, but Sacha Baron Cohen just found a way to really just make it like art in a weird way.
It's true. No, he totally did. Sorry, you're getting phone calls and I'm resizing your screen. So here, this is the day that we're having, you guys. This is the kind of day that we're having. Matthew Wiles goes on to say, Pete Davidson and John Boyega in a Black Panther movie. Would you watch it? Okay, all right. Let me. I have been on the record for quite some time saying I have nothing against John Boyega. I have nothing against that man. Having said that, I think we can all kind of agree an Academy Award winning level actor, he is not. He's a good actor. He's a fine actor. I just don't see him at an Academy Award winning level. Gregory, Matthew Wiles and I have had this friendly kind of banter back and forth where he keeps picking on me for hating on John Boyega. I don't hate John Boyega, but he keeps playing it off as though I do hate John Boyega. He's a fine actor, an Academy Award winning level actor. Maybe not. I need to see a little bit more from him. So, of course, he's just pulling my chain saying, Pete Davidson and John Boyega in a Black Panther movie, would I watch it? Well, the answer is yes, because it's Black Panther. It's Marvel. Yeah. I love the character. I love the movie. I love Ryan Coogler. I love whatever he's doing. And here's the thing. If Ryan Coogler sees fit to put Pete Davidson in a Black Panther movie, that I can almost guarantee Pete Davidson would die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. So yes, I would watch that.
You got a lot of strong opinions about a lot of actors, man.
It's only Pete Davidson and
It was like, what? I don't hate them, but they really make me sick. It's hilarious.
Well, here's the thing. Pete Davidson is, to me, he's the embodiment of white privilege.
Okay.
It's I mean, it's probably a gross overgeneralization on my part. It probably is. But when I look at him, that's all I see is here. Yes, he's got a lot of sympathy for the situation with his father, and I get it. Is he a good stand-up?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know stand-ups who are better than Pete Davidson in my personal life. And have they... Say what?
Name names.
Greg Hall, first of all.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
I mean, Pete Davidson, he's an okay stand-up. He's fine. I know a lot of other stand-ups that are way better than him. he had a troubled past? Yes, he's had a troubled past. Same thing with Billie Eilish. Billie Eilish and Pete Davidson have gone through severe trauma in their lives, and I'm not trying to downplay that at all. The work that they've had to do to overcome their personal struggles is absolutely incredible, and it is to be applauded and given all the support in the world for. But to see Pete Davidson be so unappreciative of the things that he has, and to see how he approaches the projects that he's given, is so infuriating to me, because it is that concept of white privilege to say, I get to be negative about this project. I get to if I don't feel like doing it, I won't do it, because he intrinsically knows and understands that because of his situation, because of his position, the way that he is viewed, there will be more opportunities. So he can afford to be slovenly in regards to any project that comes his way. And that is so infuriating to me, because as a struggling artist and comedian myself, I see that and I say, no, why are you acting like none of this matters? Because it does. This is your life. This is your career. If this is what you want to do, be more appreciative of it. Don't just say, hey, this is there's an interview of him on the set of SNL in 30 Rock saying, like, I don't know how I got this job. This is the craziest thing in the world. I don't do anything. People just put me in sketches and I don't even know why I get paid, but I do. So I'm here. Isn't that awesome? That is my problem with Pete Davidson. It has nothing to do with this.
He's not appreciative of where he's at in his career.
Essentially, yeah. Kind of.
That's a fair assessment. Because, like, I mean, for me, if I was in his shoes, I'd be like, man, I gotta tell you, man, first, I'd like to thank the good Lord for getting me here. And I'm just happy to be here. I'm so excited. I can pay my bills, have groceries, but that's just me.
Well, I feel like that should be everyone who is lucky enough to get a position like that. Anyway, I mean, like, that's just my general idea or thought about Pete Davidson. I mean, take it or leave it, whatever. Let's go back into the comments, shall we? We scroll through, and there are do you know a Denmark Karula?
Denmark Karula, maybe.
Well, Denmark Karula has some very not nice things to say, so I'm just gonna jump over those. Matthew Weil says, John Boyega still loves you, Mike. Well, I love John Boyega, even though he's not the best actor in the world. He's not a bad actor, but he's also not.
Have you seen Attack the Block?
I have.
He was amazing.
That was his best movie. That was his best movie.
Yeah.
And it was also his first. So, I don't know.
Ouch.
It was. I mean, I'm sorry. Those are the facts. It was his best film. And you just agreed with me. It was also his first movie. Look at how many. Detroit, I would probably say, was his second best movie. Yeah, he did. He had a wonderful performance.
I haven't seen Detroit yet, but damn, wow.
His American accent is not good. I will just say that. Gregory Hall.
Well, like a lot of people's American accents are not that good.
Yeah. Gregory Hall, you yourself commented Daniel Hayes.
Oh, that's my girlfriend. I was just like, I was tagging her so she could watch it.
Yeah, welcome. Thanks for watching, Danielle. Matthew Wiles jumps back in. He says, the hype for Zack Snyder Cut is getting so huge that I'm not sure it will be as good as he thinks. I mean, it's essentially the same film with added scenes, and this was a film that that had the big bad shouting for his mother half the time. I will agree with part of that, because I think it will most definitely be a very different movie. The story will essentially be the same, but there was a lot of stuff that Joss Whedon put on the cutting room floor when he made the theatrical cut. So, will it be the same movie? Maybe. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. Thoughts?
Like I said, I don't. I'm hoping it's going to be a different film because for the longest, I mean, they've been talking about the Snyder Cut for a
Yeah.
while now, and they kept saying that it's going to be a completely different film. So I was like, okay, it's going to be a completely different film. Then I'm going to be invested in it and see where it's going to go. I wasn't a fan of the Justice League the first time it came around, um, and that is because Marvel spent a good decade building up to, Infinity Wars and Endgame. So it felt earned. We really grew to care and to know these characters. DC, it felt so rushed with Justice League that it didn't feel earned. You didn't really care about the characters. You know what I mean? I felt like I was 12, I would have liked it, but I didn't.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that it's a different film, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I honestly,
I agree.
I don't.
I agree. Matthew Weil says, or maybe I'm just saying this because I don't have HBO Max. I mean, if you can get yourself, say what now?
No, I was just messing with. I was like, sound like Matt, you sound salty, brother. No, I'm just kidding.
If you can get yourself to not care about a particular property, then I guess you won't be let down. Last comment of the day, Matthew Weil says, Pete Davidson never drops his character. He always seems like that in all of his sketches and movies. Yeah, that's true. He always has that kind of, I got away with it. He kind of vibe to him. And it's that vibe. It's that, maybe that's another part of it. It's this attitude in every project, in every movie, in every television show, in every sketch on SNL that he's in. There's this underlying attitude or feeling, vibe coming from him of, I got away with it. And I don't appreciate that.
I love how you like that. That's the thing that upset me. Like, I don't appreciate that. Like, I love your, like, you know what it reminded me, you saying that, it reminded me of my girlfriend, because my girlfriend, she doesn't like horror films, but I love horror films. Long story short, we were watching From Dusk Till Dawn. She was ever watching it. Somebody's always trying to call me. She was watching it, and there was a scene where it got like gruesome. I think it was a scene where the band was like playing you remember that scene.
Yeah. Just and like everybody gets decimated.
Yeah, and she looked and she goes, and she doesn't, mind you, she's scared of horror films. She doesn't scream. She doesn't go, ugh. She just looks and goes, oh no, we're not doing that.
After it's over or like during?
She's just like, we're not doing that.
Oh, no.
I just look, and that was like your reaction. You was just like, yeah.
That's hilarious.
No.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I mean that's my feeling towards Pete Davidson. Like, I don't appreciate you because you're not appreciative. Anyway, so that's gonna wrap up the show today. Greg, thank you so much for being here. Thanks for talking about all the things that we love talking about the most. We probably rambled a little too long, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Sir, where can people find you online? And please tell us, what projects do you have coming up in the near future?
Well, you can find me on my IG. My handle's right down there at Gregory Hall _Sir Cushington at Instagram, because I'm also a cannabis influencer. I know this is a family show, so I'm not going to go more into that, but I'm a cannabis influencer too, so you can also follow me there for anything cannabis related. You can also follow me on Twitter at Gregory Hall 5000, and also go to the YouTube page, Camp Nas, for our Nascast, which is a weekly podcast, free-form podcast. We talk everything from things in pop culture to what's going on in the news. We have other great content, so type in Camp Nas.
And all those links will be in the description below.
Yes. Subscribe, like, and comment. And as far as what I'm working on, I'm also working on something for Camp Nas called Band TV, which is called Black Ass News. That will be my new segment, which is coming up very soon. We're going to be shooting that soon. So look out for that this month in February.
Awesome. Well, Gregory, thank you so much for being on the show. Thanks so much for spending some time with us, and giving us a little love, sir.
Thank you for having me. I had a lot of fun. It was
All right,
great
guys, if you
chopping it
like
up
this
with you.
video, click like. If you really like this video, click subscribe. And if you really, really like this video, click share. Because that is exactly what, how about Jared Leto? That's exactly what Jared Leto's Joker would want you to do, his reimagined Joker. You guys, if you want to get a question or a topic on the show, send me an email at gottalovethammovies@gmail.com. If you want to be a guest on the show, send me an email at gottalovethammovies@gmail.com. And if you want to just hit me up at gottalovethammovies@gmail.com. Let me know your comments, questions. We can make pretty much anything a main topic on the show as long as it's, within reason, family friendly. You guys, thanks for watching Gotta Love Them Movies. I'm your host, Mr. Mike Brown. I'm here all the time. You guys, we live in a weird, crazy world where everybody has their own thoughts and opinions, and sometimes those thoughts and opinions clash. So if you have an opportunity to infuse a little bit of kindness into the world, if you have an opportunity to speak kind words to each other, I implore you, please take those opportunities. And as always, in the words of Bill and Ted, be excellent to each other. I'll see you guys tomorrow.